Welcome, everybody. We got a good show lined up for you tonight. We got Ben Wier with us. We got some news stories to get to as well. Some January 6th reporting that came up. We're going to talk about Lilly Phillips a little bit. Joe Biden and his plans to commute the sentences of 1,500 people. 5 of those I think you're going to find real interesting. At least there's probably more to come. The news was just announced today. We might get into some mainstream media versus the alternatives and all that other bullshit. But first, introducing our guest. We're joined tonight again by Ben Wier, founder of Punks for Liberty, organization that aims to inspire and mobilize supporters, demonstrating how punk values align with libertarian ideals. He's also the founder of the Emo Caucus. I have questions for you. And this totally isn't a phase. He is a new father. Congratulations, my man. And most recently, his latest announcement as chair for or candidate for chair for the Libertarian Party in New Hampshire. Welcome,
yes,
Ben.
Sir. Yes. Thank you. Glad to be here. I am a man of many hats.
Yeah.
Many hats. I've got 3 on this table right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're definitely going to ask you some questions about it. But before we do get started, we got some tradition to get out of the way. I sent you a message. Are you joining us in the festivities?
I am.
What you got?
So I am already one ahead of you. I mean, I had to kind of shotgun it earlier, but I tried to rush a little bit. I didn't know how far ahead we were getting, but I did have an all-day IPA earlier. It's not the greatest beer to shotgun, by the way. I actually don't like IPAs that much. Yeah. And then I've got sugar-free Red Bull because I'm trying to lose the pregnancy weight, and mixed with Tito's. So I did that, and then I've got a Bud Light here for when I'm done. Because
you're just mixing it all up.
With water. Yeah. So,
all right, good deal. What you drinking, Josh?
So I decided to mix it up from the Desert Sunset tonight, and I got a bottle of Del Bach, the Tucson whiskey over here that I'm going to be drinking. So got that mixed up with a little Coke with vanilla here, guys. If y'all don't have that around your area, let me know. I'll send you a nice bottle of it if you want one.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely try some. I like all kinds of whiskeys and bourbons. But tonight, going back to the swamp juice, I got the Bacardi Limon and the sour apple, mixing that up with the Mountain Dew. You're going to have a good night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are one of those a MAGA hat? Sip.
Very close. Yeah, funny you should ask.
Yeah, here, let's switch it over. What's your very close hat? There you go.
LPNH great again.
LPNH great again. There you go.
That's what
all right.
For a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. So
yeah, absolutely.
You made the announcement. I did not believe you because I fell for white dudes for Harris. I fell for, whatever other crazy shit you post all the time. Yeah. I actually questioned whether or not you actually had a kid. That was also, I was doubting that one too.
Yeah, that really happened. The kid was not just posted for clout, as some people might have thought,
What?
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, Pearly.
You didn't post your kid for clout because Pearl thinks it's all for clout because she has no fucking life and is a miserable fucking cunt.
No, posting fuck trophies for clout's not always standard, but I am proud and happy that I finally have a baby boy. So he's doing good. And
good, man.
This is a nice little vacation away from watching him for the next however long we go.
We'll see. Back to sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby.
Yeah,
man. No, that's awesome, man. Well, what's the story with the LPNH thing? Obviously, it's probably the most notorious libertarian account on Twitter. I think it's very polarizing. A lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it. You think you can save him, or do you think it doesn't need saving?
Sir. I actually made a post. I've been talking about doing this for a long time, and actually, I've basically been committed to doing it for a while. But a couple weeks ago, I made a post about how I'm an anarchist. All political parties are going to fail my purity test. It's just going to happen. Just participating in the game, I am compromising my values just to call myself a libertarian. Capital L. First things first, I want to see liberty in our lifetime. And that priority comes above everything else other than my family. To me, it doesn't matter what letter next to your name gets us closer. So I'm in New Hampshire. I'm a member of, mover for the Free State Project. And I've known for a long time that there's actual libertarians, Ron Paul libertarians that call themselves anarchists, agorists, voluntarists, libertarians that are elected to the state house. We have over 100 elected. Mm-hmm. In fact, the House Majority Leader is an anarchist. It's amazing. But I've known for a while that you can, work outside of these party limits to get shit done. However, I am trying to help the Libertarian Party in New Hampshire because I think that we can be a huge asset to moving liberty. And it's not that I'm not saying I don't want to run candidates or something like that. I'm saying that we can do things outside of the norm to promote liberty and to promote people who are really good libertarians. They might not be perfect. They're not going to pass a purity test every time. Like we have Lily Tang Williams here, who's libertarian as fuck. She used to run as a libertarian.
Yeah, it was good.
She's awesome. And I was all in on supporting her. You know what I mean? And I think any good libertarian should have. It's like saying, just because Thomas Massey or Rand Paul doesn't have an L next to their name,
right?
Should we not be allowed to give them a shout out on social media? I think that's insane. To say that we're not allowed to do that. So one of the first things I want to do is get rid of the language in the bylaws. Obviously, this is like a 2/3 thing. They have to pass this out of convention. This isn't like a unanimous thing that I can do. Sure. But bylaws, I'd like to get rid of the language to that say we have to always support the national candidate, because I think that's bullshit, especially after this last year. And two, that we have to operate within the bounds of just one party. And I'm not saying give money to or do anything else for any other political party. I'm saying that we should be able to support them in other ways. We even have resources to help them text bank. Some of these people are helping us defend the guard passed. We had defend the guard passed through the House last year. You know what I mean? And we're trying to get it repassed through the House so that it can go through the Senate this year. So truthfully, we have a lot of work to do. And by being political purists, we are not going to get there. So,
well, there's people that will say the point of the Libertarian Party is to run candidates. That's the whole point, is to run libertarian candidates, to run and get elected. And sounds like what you're saying is, doesn't have to be a libertarian.
Well, I'm saying that doesn't have to be a capital L libertarian. I'm saying that libertarians are getting elected. Real libertarians, I know this. I've met them. They are actually members of the capital L Libertarian Party and LPNH too. This is, if our standard is just they have to be a member, sure, maybe they are capital L libertarians too. But in New Hampshire, we don't have ballot access. So we're having different conversations than everybody else, because we can't run as a libertarian unless we go out and spend. This last year, we spent $45,000 to get 2 candidates on the ballot.
That's bigger than most states' entire budget.
Yeah. And that's to get 4,400 votes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Literally spent $10 per vote that we received. That's insane.
Wow. So I hear you, Tim. If you don't mind, I'd like to get things kicked off early tonight.
Get them.
All right, Ben. So if you're not aware, I like to be the controversial one on this here. So I'm going to ask questions that may be uncomfortable or controversial, even questions I don't necessarily agree with where I'm arguing from. So I want to preface that now, but real deal. If all this success is coming from not big L libertarians in New Hampshire, why the fuck would you even want to deal with the big L Libertarian Party in New Hampshire when you can be clearly so much more effective doing it outside of the Libertarian Party? None of our big L candidates are getting elected. Fuck, we don't have ballot access. Why are you doing all this? Why are you wasting your time? I
mean, I'm pretty convicted about being with the Libertarian Party, at least still. I'm not disgusted to the point where I want to walk away from it. But I've been helping out for a long time, put a lot of hours in, spent a lot of money. And to me, even if that was the case, that we were able to get, more libertarians elected through other means, people need a fuck you vote. That they need a fuck you vote. There isn't one out there better than the Libertarian Party. And at least one that stands for true freedom and like, self-ownership and individualism. I think that that's the standard for anarchism. And I don't think that you can be a real anarchist if you're not like a libertarian, because you're not like, you have to live peacefully. You're not going to steal shit from other people. But I think that like people desperately need something different. And like I said, I'm not saying that we're not going to run candidates too. There are a lot of nonpartisan offices in New Hampshire, like local selectmen, mayor, stuff like this, that we are going to be looking at having people run for. And those are things that, like, this is like, our towns in New Hampshire are pretty small. Like, you're talking, you might need to get 100 or 200 votes. And if we have a couple towns that have, I don't know, like here in Manchester, I'm not even joking, I can throw a rock and hit probably 50 libertarians.
Wow.
Now this
How
is
violent of you.
More populated area. Yeah, right. It's a more populated area here, but so you would need more votes here. But in the smaller towns, like we have a couple that have quite a few libertarians. If we could stack the ballot, get a couple of them on their local, selectman board, zoning board, they can make a lot of changes in their town, and they can do so without being registered as anything.
So what you're saying is you want to hide the fact that they're libertarian to get them elected.
They don't have to hide. I mean, I ran as a county sheriff a couple of years ago, and I ran as a capital L libertarian. I got the signatures that were required for myself. I did not ask people to fund my ballot access. Well, one, because the signature count wasn't that high. I had to get like 300 signatures, but I got them all myself, and I got myself on the ballot. I think that if people want to run as a capital L libertarian, that's something they're convicted to do, then we should have the infrastructure to support that. We should, if you're a good person, you haven't the friends to do it, you should absolutely go collect signatures and get on the ballot as a libertarian. I'm not telling people not to do that. I just don't want to spend money to do it because
I respect it there, but you're not on the ballot. When you're running nonpartisan, you're not on the ballot as anything. You're not on as libertarian. Like you're on in spirit as a libertarian, but you're not actually on the ballot as a libertarian. You're hiding the fact you're libertarian by running nonpartisan.
That's true, but there's other stuff like state rep or we would like to, like we have something in New Hampshire called NHLA, which is New Hampshire Liberty Alliance. Uh-huh. They grade every single, we have 400 state reps here. They grade every single state rep on their Liberty score. And if there's some shitty Republicans or super shitty Democrats, then we want to put some people in there that are going to sway that small margin one way or the other. Like I'm telling you right now, my election cost the Republican the ticket in 2022. Because I was pissed because they ran somebody who lost the Democratic primary 2 years prior to that. So he decided to switch parties and try to run again as a Republican. He was a Maggie Hassan supporter, who's one of the worst senators of all time. He supported Hillary Clinton back in the day, big time, boots on the ground, back to blue. So I ran an unapologetically, Second Amendment strong, fuck the ATF campaign. And I ended up getting like 12% of the vote in some towns in my county as a capital L libertarian on the ballot. Now the Democrat won that year, but I'm telling you, if I was not on the ballot, if I was not doing that, hands down, 100%, every other county seat in the entire county was Republican. So I was getting death threats from Republicans in my inbox telling me I cost them everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Meanwhile, they're still here. Everything's still fine, but
sure. It was the most important election of their lifetime, and you ruined it.
And it was and now just to put things into perspective, this was a partisan race. Like you were running like, hey, I'm part of the Libertarian. I'm a big, kind of like I was for Florida House, awesome. Like, and I love to see that there, The question becomes, though, is that you just brought up the fact that, hey, we wasted like $45,000 on like 4,400 votes. So
that was for president and for a governor candidate. So
a little different. Understood.
That this is for those you need to get I think it was 6,000 signatures. Mm-hmm. Signature gatherers charge minimum $7 a signature just to collect. So it's a little pricey, but I guess what I'm saying is there were a couple candidates out there that one of them I supported at convention, Lars Mapstead, who could have funded their own ballot access efforts and cost the party no money. And I actually like consider him a friend. I think he's a great guy. The other one, like I actually stood up and spoke up against. I didn't really care for RFK. I still really don't trust him. But I understand what people are doing. I understand where they see him. So, he could have self-funded his ballot access. You know what I mean? So like there's options out there. Like if we have a good candidate, they will have the infrastructure or the money for the most part to self-fund. Now, Joe Jorgensen probably wouldn't have had as much as Lars or RFK would have, but still, like, they spent money to get ballot access back in the day, but it wasn't $45,000. These prices are going up just as much as everything else is going up in price. Sure. And every election, it gets worse and worse. Ballot access gets harder and harder and harder to get to because there's more competition, especially with bigger names running independently like RFK had been at the time, because nobody really predicted what was going to happen later. So, I think that like it's just important to balance out what we're looking at here. You really need to have a good return on your investment. And this year we did not. And I think that there's multiple factors there. Like I think the candidate wasn't interesting at all. Yeah. So they'd never accomplished anything in their life. So you need to have candidates that are accomplished, that are, I think that candidates should come with an infrastructure too. Like I think that they should have a support group that's more than just a couple hundred votes at convention. Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of things, a lot of work that needs done. I think that we've been going around about it the whole wrong way. And the definition of insanity, you do the same thing over and over, right?
Right. Do you have any competition in New Hampshire as far as you know for chair or is,
Justin O'Donnell is forming a coalition to go up against me. And right now I believe the margin's probably pretty close between you two, really. Yeah. He's not the one running against me. I actually don't know who his candidate is. I think it's a guy named Kevin Kahn, who's one of Sarwark's people. But we'll see. We'll see what happens at convention. They could put someone else up. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm doing what I have to do, making phone calls, recruiting. I can't worry about what they're doing or thinking about. All I know is that I have I'm not just coming into this convention, half-assed running. I have a full plan in place. I've put out my goals and I actually have a full 2-year plan broken down by fiscal quarter for the next 2 years. So, I'm not just looking at the next convention. I'm looking 2 conventions out. You know what I mean? I think that that's how the Libertarians should be treating their affiliates, because if you're just trying to make it to the next convention so that you can get a new board or do new things, then like you're just spinning wheels for no reason. There's no reason to succeed at that point. Like you're literally just spinning wheels. So trying to bring something new, bring some positive energy to an affiliate that we really need it here for sure. I mean, we're growing social media wise, but I'd really like to get our membership up, get some more voters here, because in New Hampshire, we kind of measure our success a lot on, are we getting people to move to New Hampshire? And we actually saw quite a few this last year that moved to New Hampshire because of people that are in LP&H. So, that's, like I said, that's kind of our measure for success.
I was going to ask you about measure for success. I think physical concentration, I said it in previous videos, I think physical concentration is probably the only answer to ensure liberty in our lifetime. I don't think you're going to get it through the federal system the way it's set up right now. I think you need to get people together in a small community and either take it over or create your own. I think that's the only way it's going to happen. But on that note,
it's more separate, you have to do all the liberty that I see being achieved in the real world. A lot of it's happening through coalitions outside of political parties. And, we need to start working with other organizations if we want to pass bills like Defend the Guard or Decrim Nature or whatever it might be. We need to start thinking outside the box. And I'm not trying to say that they didn't try to do these before with previous regimes. Some of them did. They just weren't good at it. So I just think we need to fix our infrastructure. We need to be able to support ourselves, sustain ourselves with. If we don't have members, we're not going to have volunteers, and if we don't have volunteers, we're not going to get anything done. So
yeah, no, like that's another point that you brought up earlier. Like I think if you had the support to get the signatures anyways, you wouldn't need the money, and that's what you need those people to vote for you. So it just makes sense to not spend money on ballot access and work more on building relationships and then getting those volunteers to help you get across the finish line. That all makes sense to me. The question I wanted to ask you about, measuring your success or whatever, what you mentioned a 2-year plan. What are some goals? Like, is it every 2 years they elect a new chair in New Hampshire? Is that this?
No, it's every year. It's every year.
Every year.
So
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
I'll be up against the election next year. So,
all right.
and I do think that that's something that should change in the bylaws. Some positions should be biannual,
extended.
Right now we have a little less than 200 members in LPNH.
Do you guys have dues? Is that why? Why is it so low?
$25 a year.
Okay, it's dues. That's why it's low. Yeah.
Yeah, we have like 40,000 in Florida. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, but all you have to do is sign up, and that's it.
Yeah, literally, you just have to go online, sign up. Like we're not like constitutionally, we're not allowed to encumber members by a membership dues.
Really?
So we can't.
They call it an undue burden. Yeah.
Yes, they call it an undue burden in Florida, and we are not allowed to charge. Well, I'm not in Florida, but we can't charge members membership dues.
There's a lot of states that are like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a big reason. Like with people, like we would have fucking like Indiana like FaceTime us all like, oh yeah, you just got to set up your membership dues. And like, oh yeah, like we're raising $100,000 a year, and we're like, oh yeah, we're legally not allowed to. Like, oh yeah, you guys aren't going to make that much then.
Yeah, this is why I was saying I'm planning 2 conventions ahead, and that's 2 years away, basically. So I'm trying to make sure I have a plan to get me through every quarter for the next 2 years.
Well, what I wanted to ask you is let's say you get elected a year from then, when you guys go to your next convention, how do you want people to judge your effectiveness? What are you mentioned the 2-year plan or whatever, but what are some metrics people can look at and say, well, he said he was going to do X, Y, and Z, and he either did or didn't?
Yeah, I want people to hold me to my word for sure. I mean, there's things that are immediately in need, and I think the biggest one for us right now, it's the boring shit that nobody really wants to care or know about, and it's the CRM. We need to update our CRM. We don't have any data at all, so if we can do that, and
you get their money, but you don't have their data, what the hell?
Well, I want to get a good CRM so that we can collect data not just from our members, but also pay like data companies that can send us data from the recent election, because there's a lot of things you can do with that. You can help promote, causes like Defend the Guard. And if we're making more phone calls to people and telling more people to call their senators and put pressure on them to pass a certain bill, it doesn't matter how many 5-star generals show up at the hearing. They're going to be hopefully at least representing the people that they're supposed to be representing. So
yeah. There were two different questions that came in through here. One, I'll start with Chuck's first because I think it's more relevant to the point right now. What are your thoughts on 4-year terms for chairs? Is that too long?
I'm looking right now. I got to focus on the next convention. So
sure,
I literally I can't even think about what's happening 4 years from now. I think that having one person for an entire presidential cycle would probably be a bad idea. If you even think about what the Libertarian Party looked like over the last 4 years ago, might as well have been 50 years ago. Might as well have been, because honestly, the party looks completely different.
Let me ask you about that. Like, what do you think about on the national stage right now? It seems like you're kind of angling more towards the kingmaker strategy, like you may be in favor of it. What do you make of the national party right now, the direction it's been headed?
I'm on the LNC, so I am a
talk to us.
rep. So, I'll say that I see what they're saying, and I don't know if I would call it a kingmaker strategy because
that's what they labeled. That's what Angela calls it.
That's what they call it. I'm not, I don't. No king but Christ for me, but I'll say that I think that there could be value. I would rather judge it by results than just talk.
We see some of the results right now. RFK's your Libertarian, whether you like it or not. How you feel about that?
You know what? If that's the result that they wanted, if that's their measure of success, then they succeeded.
I think it's spin. I don't think that's what she wanted at all. But
I don't think so either. Yeah. I think that
I could twist a very different story if I really wanted to burn a whole bunch of people, but I'm going to leave that one alone.
I'll say that I think that there's a couple very good appointees in Trump's cabinet that I'm very impressed by, that I'm very proud of. Jay Bhattacharya, I can never say his last name. Huge. That's an amazing addition to replace Fauci. But there's also a lot of terrible ones. And AIPAC has basically sponsored, given money to every single person on that list of his cabinet list. And a lot of them are war hawks, big time Israel supporters. They are applauding us taking over and crushing Syria and taking out Assad right now. And I don't know, man. I'm anti-war to the core. I've been following up on this for a while. I've probably made a couple of the tweets that people don't like, saying Assad did nothing wrong. But he's a bad man. He's an evil man. Like, I'm not applauding him, but he's the least bad person in that region by far. And he's
Ben, if you vote for the lesser of two evils, it's still evil, don't you know?
It's true. And honestly, man, I think that my opinions on what's happening at the national level will probably say that, like, I actually think that they might be trying to take a page out of Free State Project book. So I would like to say that LPNH is the kingmakers, because we are the ones that are leading the way and being the influence to everybody, the good influence to help them change and
you
see
triggered
the world.
Josh. I don't know what you said, but you triggered Josh.
I'm just waiting for my chance to be controversial again.
You can be controversial anytime, brother.
Well, look here. I want to get to this one before it gets too far into the conversation.
God damn it, Ronan.
Yeah, Ronan gave us $5. We'll take a drink. Is MAGA punk? Yep.
It's empty.
No. But I will say that anything
is Maha punk?
Define punk.
There's aspects of it that could be interpreted as punk, and my I think definition is as more that it's like counter-cultural. But right now we're talking like there's a third level to that, so it's counter-cultural, because the other side thinks they're the counterculture side, but now they're trying to like hyper swing it the other direction. So I think that there's aspects that you could probably consider punk, but I mean, I'm not gonna say any political party or political movement is that punk. Like, punk by nature is political. But I started Punks for Liberty because I think that there is no perfect spot for people to be. And I'm going to be going out to concerts and festivals, talking to people where they're at, that are probably mostly lefties, but
that's what I've noticed. All these damn punks are fucking communists.
The loudest ones are. I'll tell you that. But I'll tell you, like, just from my touring experience and stuff, that there's a lot of people who are just scared to talk about it, and they're scared to really state their opinions. And I think the metal scene and the hardcore scene is a big representation of that. There's so many right wingers out there. It's not even funny. And you've seen some of them speaking out. Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Falling in Reverse. He's been pretty brutal on things though. And then you've got, obviously Phil Labonte, people like, I don't know, like Pete Parada, who was kicked out of The Offspring for not taking the shot. I just did a shout out to him on our page recently.
That was awesome. And he even thanked y'all for that.
I know. It was
I
really,
saw that.
Yeah, it was really nice of him. I think that, like I said, there's a little bit of punk rock in everybody, and I don't think it's tied to any specific political movement. I think overall, it's just we need to be anti-authoritarian, not necessarily anti-authority. And I say that as an anarchist. I'm saying that we need to just move the needle, and Punks for Liberty wants to move the needle closer to individual freedom. So if MAGA's the ones doing that the most right now, then that's how it is. I'm not going to say those words, but that's just how it is. So
And Tim, let me not be
Yeah.
controversial for a minute here.
Okay,
And let me
sure.
really, can I just for a minute, Ben, sing your praises on the whole, like the Emo Caucus thing, Punks for Liberty, like realistically speaking, like we've gotten to know each other a little bit over the last couple months, year or so. And like, I've very deeply engrossed myself in the liberty movement over the last 4 or 5 years. And I've dealt with a lot of different organizations, a lot of different groups, a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, man.
Yeah.
And to say that you personally are not leading the charge on one of not only the most actually like motivational movements in our movement, so to speak, in the greater movement, but also something where you're seeing people from every different aspect, viewpoint, wing, and it's very positively coming together. We're not like, I see the groups that Ben forms here, guys, and like the communities he builds, and people who normally would be on very different aspects of the spectrum, so to speak. And I'm not just talking of the autism one either, but like there's no friction. And like that's really impressive in the liberty movement in 2024 when there's so much infighting and drama and anger and disagreements that like Ben, you're really creating a group of people in a community that overcomes all of that so-called adversity that seems to be out there in the liberty movement and like moves on to the meat and potatoes of what's important. So I really want to like give you your flowers in this instant here, man, because I don't see this in the liberty movement. The positivity, like I don't want to sound real gay,
It's
but like
toxic, dude. It's really toxic.
It's horrible, bro. And the fact that you're creating something here that's actually like it's inspiring to me. And like I don't get inspired by much. Tim will tell you, like, I don't give a fuck about shit. So like to see you out here doing all this and you're actually creating these communities and doing all this, like I said, I like to be controversial, but like I do think that if you're elected as chair, and I've already said I'm going to give you my full-throated endorsement, I think you're going to make LPNH great again. But I do have some questions here. So we're talking about like, hey, the kingmaker strategy, and you know, this is where I wanted to get to here is that you know Tim was like, oh, Josh got kind of triggered, and I think it was Marilyn Manson who said it that slave never dreams to be free, slave only dreams to be king. And that's kind of what I see the LP right now as is we've been the slave for so long that we stopped dreaming of freedom and started dreaming of being the king. And we've admitted now with the kingmaker strategies that, hey, we've realized realistically we are never going to be king. So we've already given up the high ground to the duopoly now, saying, hey, we're now going to be kingmaker because we can't be king. So I want to hear from you if we're going to be, if LPNH is going to be great again, and you guys are playing kingmaker for the LP, how are we going to see the LP become great again? Because that's what I want to know. If you guys are going to be kingmaker, I'm not dreaming to be free. I'm dreaming to be king. How are we going to be king one day?
So I'll say because one, you're not in New Hampshire, so there's a big thing here where libertarians we're just constantly winning. Like we just are getting sick of winning up here. All we do is win all the time. And
DJ
a lot of
Colin.
these people who are talking about kingmaker strategy are talking about federal elections, and us in New Hampshire, truthfully, like I say this from the bottom of my heart, almost all of them do not care about the federal elections. We care about what's happening in New Hampshire. We have things here in our community. We have more libertarian coalitions and organizations here than when it comes to concentration than any other state. And for us, Kingmaker just looks different. Like, sure. I understand the capital L thing. So we actually had a state rep here. His name's Brendan Finney, who was a Republican state rep. And as soon as we got ballot access as a libertarian, he decided he was running his next term as a libertarian. He changes the thing. Well, he lost. And then the next election, we lost ballot access and he ran as a Republican again and he won again. But we have like so many ways to win, and what one person sees as king is like maybe the president, maybe the governor. Like for us, we just want to be able to privatize our local parks. And there's an actual libertarians here that are making movements to privatize the public parks in Manchester. So we're making headway on a local level. So how do you get what you want as a libertarian? How do you win? How do you truly win? And it's suddenly and then all at once. So it's what is it? It's not what it says. It's
slowly, suddenly,
gradually, then all at once. That's what Malice says. So we've been doing this gradually with the Free State Project for almost 20 years, and we're getting to the point where, like I said, we're just getting sick of winning. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We need a lot more wins to make it all at once. But there's people here that really want to make Manchester basically, like some Ayn Rand style libertarian city. And while I think that's a total pipe dream,
let's try.
I'm not going to be a purist. I'm also going to help them get closer to that goal. And I'm going to, try to be a good team player. And if I pretty much only voted for people who were libertarians and my friends that are like confirmed libertarians on the ballot this last year. So, and most of them won. So, it's been a fun thing. Kingmaker strategy, call it what you want. Like I said, I'm not like going to say I buy in or buy out. I could care less what people call it. We just have a different strategy here. We want to be the representatives for the Libertarian Party. And yeah.
And Ben, I don't necessarily disagree, but and you're right. I don't live in New Hampshire. I just recently moved all the way across the country from Florida to Arizona. So I actually got way further away from New Hampshire than getting closer.
And further from Liberty.
Yeah.
And actually, that was where I was going with this, is I wholeheartedly disagree. And I don't believe that even I don't believe in the libertarian concentration strategy. Reason being is I've spent a lot of time around big and small L libertarians, and a mass majority of them I would not want around my fucking family. Just being real. These are like deplorable scumbag human beings. I don't want them anywhere near my children, anywhere near my family. These are I literally, they emphasized all of the worst stereotypes of libertarianism. And a lot of them, I'm not going to say all of them or a bunch of them, but there's many of them that live in New Hampshire too.
I'll say this. There's a lot of those. I know exactly the type of people you're talking about. I know exactly what you're saying.
And they're everywhere too.
A lot of them are leaving the Libertarian Party because they're so frustrated with things right now.
But are they leaving New Hampshire?
I'll say truthfully, that is such a minority that I honestly don't know that many people. Like, there's a bunch of libertarian weirdos. Obviously, we're all autistic weirdos. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah, but some are creepy.
Yeah, I'm not going to let anybody watch my kid or something like that.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I don't know if you've ever been to PorcFest, but it is a really great example of what FSP in New Hampshire represents libertarian-wise as a whole. It's a very family-friendly event. There's so many families that go up there. There's, it's a good place with good people, and people bring their kids. Their kids will be hustling and trying to sell things to you, up and down, walking up and down with their little red wagons, and it's a good time. I don't know. They're just turning them into little capitalists. Yeah,
and I appreciate that, but I hear what you're saying, and you're like, I move further away from liberty, and this is what I'm saying. I wholeheartedly disagree. Because if I go out there, because I have buy my own house money right now, and that's why I'm out here in Arizona. I want to buy a house. I'm getting the fuck away from society. I'm almost basically pulling a Uncle Ted out here. I'm trying to get the fuck as far away as I can, take my family, get a bunch of acreage where I can farm, I can raise animals, and I can legitimately here in Arizona get off the grid completely. Well water, solar panels, Tesla batteries. I can be completely off the grid. Mm-hmm. And now I've brought my family more liberty and freedom here in Arizona than I could ever accomplish in New Hampshire.
Actually completely, I agree with what you say in premise. I will say that New Hampshire is the homesteading capital of the United States. There are more homesteaders here. It's the most unconcentrated area. There's more unincorporated area in New Hampshire than almost any other state. There's a lot of places you can go. And I would say if there really isn't a city in New Hampshire. Manchester's the closest thing that they have. Everyone lives in the boonies here. Everyone wants to get away. So I think people are correct in saying that if they want to, be, self-sufficient, self-sustaining, homesteading is the way to go. You can do that in more affordable areas. Property taxes are the only tax we pay here. So property taxes are high, but that's the only tax that they pay here. And if there's other ways, I encourage people to come and at least check it out, because there's even a place called Garnet School here that teaches people how to be self-sufficient, how to do homesteading the right way, how to forage. It's a good time. You look like you're ready to face.
Oh yeah, Ben, and I don't disagree with you. Yep. But, and I even agree, and and somebody had asked me this. Actually, I think in one of your chats is, what's the loss you're going to inflict upon yourself by moving to New Hampshire? And not only would it be career opportunities personally for me, but it's also, I actually went and looked on, online and a couple of different realtor apps on houses. I did the same specifications in Arizona as I did for New Hampshire. And I did the whole state of New Hampshire, just to be very forthright with this. I didn't just limit it myself to Manchester, here or there. The whole motherfucking state. Out here, hundreds of options available with all the parameters I have set.
That's fair. The career opportunities aren't as high. I will say that I found the best job that I've ever had.
And I respect
Not for everybody.
I work for a very large private corporate company that is in 139 countries and does, if it were to go public, would be one of the top 25 most valuated companies.
And they have no branches in New Hampshire.
No, they don't.
Are you serious? I was making that as a joke.
No, they don't. They have a whole 12. That's what I'm saying. I have a severe lack of career opportunities, which right now I'm looking to work towards a 6-figure salary with my career. And Ben, I'm just going to be really honest. All the houses I found that were in the same parameters, maybe 2-3 acres. They were nice. 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, 2-3 bath, real nice. But that doesn't beat a 2-1 and a 1-1 on 234 acres of land for less than $300,000, sir.
Man,
if I can get 234 acres, Ben, am I more free than I was yesterday, or am I less free? Please, yes or no?
Absolutely. You are in control of your own life, and I'm not trying to tell people, especially when it comes to families.
You can say this now as a family man. Before you had no opinion, but
now
seriously, people don't move to New Hampshire because my family's here. People need to understand that. Maybe you don't want to be in your family. That's not the case for everybody, but family is important to a lot of people. They want to stay close to their families. There are hindrances to New Hampshire too. Obviously you're a warm weather guy. You're not.
I moved far the fuck away from my family too. All my family's across the country now.
Mine's all in Colorado at this point, but not everyone's so autistically obsessed with liberty that they feel the need to move to the most free state in the country. And like I said, freedom is an individual choice. You choose to be free every day. All government is illegitimate, and it should be treated as such. Therefore, you are the ultimate authority of your life. And if you're going somewhere that makes you more free, that gives you more flexibility and allows you to protect your family and save more, then you are making the best choice for yourself. So,
I can open carry in Arizona, which I couldn't do in Florida. So I appreciate that. You got to go. And that's where I'm really coming from here is I totally get where LPNH, I've had you guys for years trying, Josh, come to New Hampshire, bring your family. You're going to love it. And I'm just I can't do snow. I can't do cold. My job, my professional opportunities are minimal there. It's a beautiful state. I bought tickets to Pork Fest in 2022. Unfortunately, life events kept me from coming. So I'd love to eventually come and see New Hampshire.
Everyone should experience it at least once, man. Honestly, until you're here, you really won't understand. I'll say, with the snow thing, we got less snow here than they did in Colorado. My family got more snow than we did in New Hampshire last year. But snow is snow. It's always going to be here. I do appreciate that we get all 4 seasons here. That's something I missed living out west. I had at one point considered moving to Florida, believe it or not. And I ended up going a different direction. So people have their preferences. I don't mind the snow. I actually find the snow quite peaceful and enjoyable. So
yeah,
I like the
everyone can say
snow.
that.
I don't like the cold. That's my problem. I'm dying out here. It's been like 40, 30 degrees. I've been having to work outside. It's been miserable for me. And everybody's just like in t-shirts or like light jackets, and they're like, Josh, why are you in like a heavy jacket and a parka on top of it? I'm like,
because I'm from Miami, motherfucker.
that's honestly been my excuse. Like, guys, I'm from like Miami, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that makes. I got a beanie. Like nobody has a beanie on but me outside, and they're like, are you really that cold? I'm like, do you see the melanation in my skin, motherfucker? That's why I can't move to New Hampshire. I'm too melanated. They won't accept me here in New Hampshire.
Oh, you're right. We're the whitest state in the country.
You're
So
goddamn right. They're going to be pulling me
Next to
over
Maine.
constantly, wanting to see my ID. I'm going to get deported to Massachusetts and have to deal with the commie fags.
we'll send you
raping
down
me
to
in the
Martha's
asshole.
Vineyard with all the homeless people.
Yeah.
Funny enough, yeah, you and my fucking next door neighbor over here are going to send me to Martha's Vineyard thinking I'm homeless. Fuck.
Tom Homan's gonna get your ass.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't threaten me with a good time, young man.
You know what? Like I have goals. I have plans for LPNH. This is where I'm at. I moved across the country to be here. I love it. I'm going to keep promoting it for sure. But I'm also like,
All right.
I want to help the libertarian cause in general. And I think that that's what Punks for Liberty's for. Emo started with the Emo Caucus. And then I decided I wanted to make it a step bigger, a step wider, and go out and just, try to hit the
Emo
music.
Caucus came first.
Emo
Hell
Caucus
yeah.
came at Reno. So
Here, I'm
part of
gonna
that-
piss
I got-
Josh off to distract him while I ask
I
you
got
this
my-
next question. How the hell could the Emo Caucus endorse a hipster
God,
like Josh,
motherfucking damn, God,
like
fuck
Josh
you.
Halofka?
Ben,
I
Ben,
know.
we have to ask you a very seriously
We'll go
important
back to my
here.
question, but yeah, no, this is brought up for a point though.
Uh,
Not only to piss
goddamn-
Josh off, but we came up with this
fuck
metric.
you, Tim. Fuck you. Goddamn, fuck you, Hans Bricks. You know how fucking busy I am.
All right, here we'll take a sip for Rob's stepsister. While
Rob's stepsister. To Rob's stepsister.
All right, let me clear our
And
mics
Forest
here.
Mommy. I saw you.
Forest
Yeah,
Mom.
and Forest Mommy. Shout out to Forest Mommy in the chat out here.
Absolutely. No,
Tim,
that comes up for
ask him the important questions.
Yeah, so we came up with this metric during one of our member only streams, and we were talking about like there's a lot of people that run for office, whether it's political office, or whether it's being a candidate or inter-party office or whatever it is. There's a lot of people that have no business running.
Bring it
They
back up,
You're
Tim.
damn right.
I'll bring it
Put
back,
it back
up.
up on the.
They
Put it
can't-
back up. God
they-
damn it.
They can't get their own shit together. They don't have their own lives together, yet they want to tell you how it's best to run the party. So the metric that we came up with is if you can't pay your portion of the debt, you have no problem. You have no business running for political office. So our question to you, Ben, can you pay your portion of the debt?
We're
Yes.
talking debt
He
per
said yes.
taxpayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, my wife, and my child.
Yeah.
All
right.
There we go.
There we go.
Respectable.
So
I'm not going to ask for your tax forms, but that's commendable. Good job.
I don't give
New
a
Hampshire.
fuck.
New Hampshire's been the best job that I've had by far, and I had to take 3 months off this year. It's been the best year of my career. So I've been doing
That's
this
awesome.
type of work for 14 years, worked my way up, and I'm finally in a good spot where I'm able to branch out and find some success. So trying to catch up on all my medical bills from cancer and now from having a baby. So
I thought you just looked like that. You're a cancer patient?
No, that's the retard.
It's the down in them.
Yeah, no, in February I had the cancer cut out of my leg. That was fun. So
Oof.
Yeah, you got down with the sickness. Okay, good
I
deal.
did.
Yeah.
Really got down
And
with
he
that
got the
shit.
sickness cut out of him.
Hey,
I
that's
got
good,
that
man.
shit.
I'm glad you made it.
Fuck yeah.
Well, no, I really did want to. How the hell could the Emo Caucus endorse Josh Halovka, a known hipster?
I know.
I know you saw the video.
That
controversial.
is a lie. I will not tolerate this kind of slander on my motherfucking show.
So if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
the reason that you got
Mitch
called
is
a
a
hipster
goddamn
originally
liar, Tim.
was because you liked the Gorillas. Am I wrong? Isn't that the reason that it got
That
brought
was
up that you were a
Mitch's.
hipster?
Yeah, that was
Mitch
Mitch.
is
You
a
saw the
fucking
video.
homo.
Yeah.
I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta say that I've known Josh for a while, and he's a good person. He's got some emo, some punk in him.
A new one.
What?
I think when it comes to hip hop, alternative music like that, the Gorillas are as punk as it gets. So it's not that hipster. Okay. Like if hipsters listen to the Gorillas, fine. But it's not like this dude's walking around with the Beatles and a 45 record player on his shelf. You know what I mean? Like, he better not, at least. I'll revoke his card. Immediately booted from the emo chat. But
all I said was Gorilla's first album was their best album because it was more punk. They had Dan the Automator producing the album, and then everything after that was a commercial sellout that was fucking gay and fucking fake. And Mitch called me a hipster for it. God damn him.
That's
Where's Mitch now? Where's your God now, chat?
No, that was just a fun question I had to ask. I didn't know the Emo Caucus came before Punks for Liberty.
I started that in Reno. Actually, Otto and me talked a lot back there, and I was like, "Do you think that this would hit? Do you think this would be good?" And he's like,
Emo Caucus?
Fucking send it. Yeah. And I was like, all right. So I just went with it, and then it grew. Then we tabled this last convention, which was a really good time. I had Afro Man perform during one of my karaoke nights and my DJ set. Awesome. And then, I've DJ'd a few emo nights. I had Pork Fest. I did a emo night there too, and some metal nights, all kinds of stuff. It's just grown. And I just think that this Emo Caucus is like, sure, there's Punks for Liberty, but like Emo Caucus is like Libertarian Party focused, and Punks for Liberty is like, I'm going out into the real world, meeting people. We are already kind of doing that with the Emo Caucus, going out to shows and talking to people about our, Lord and Savior Ron Paul and stuff. But, it's all about, like, as libertarians, we got to be better at talking to people and going out and reaching people where they're at, talking to normal folks. And
emo kids aren't normal.
Libertarians aren't normal. So
they kind of fit right in.
They fit right in. And we're talking about like the outcast of the political world meets the outcast of the music world. So really there's a lot of overlap in so many different ways. There's a lot of people who just don't trust the government. And sure, like a lot of them probably are more left leaning. If you just go to any random concert, I'd say it's probably at least 70-30, if it's probably higher, leaning to the left. But that's because they're in an echo chamber too. And we have to realize that they're getting fed a lot of bullshit. And when we were not red pilled yet, when we still saw things through a normie lens, we were buying a lot of the bullshit too. So it doesn't take a whole lot to push people over the edge to just say, no, fuck the government. They hate you. They are oppressing you. And you should vote accordingly. You should hate the government too. And,
don't cut your arms, cut the state.
Yes.
Go.
Hell yeah.
Cut taxes, not your arms.
Cut taxes.
Yeah. But there's a lot of overlap, and I think that this is a good place to be. So
no. Ronan for another $2 with a gay sip says, put a chick in it and make it gay. That's the Gorilla's motto. Well, no, it's good, man. I hope we get to see each other soon, because I think it'd be a cool hangout. I want to get into some news stuff, and we'll get your reactions on some of that. Did you pay any attention to the new January 6 updates? Do you know what's been happening there?
Yeah, I do. I saw that there's a couple people that they're talking about pardoning, actually. Wait, am I thinking of the right thing? No, maybe not. J6. Are we talking about Liz Cheney?
No. Well, here, I'll share the news, and then we'll go from there. All right.
I might have different news then.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe you can break some stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to say some controversial shit in a minute.
All right. J6 didn't go far enough. Okay, you win.
Well, a new report from an independent investigation finds zero evidence that federal agents were involved in inciting the January 6th insurrection. The report undercutting now years of baseless claims spread by far-right political figures attempting to tie the FBI and the deadly attack. Let's bring in Alex Mellon for more. So what exactly did the Watchdog report find?
Yeah, Kira, I mean, this investigation has been 4 years in the making, and the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, for the Justice Department, really looked and tried to drill down on the FBI's use of confidential informants leading up to and also on January 6th. Now, it's no secret, we've covered in court proceedings, that there were confidential informants for the FBI on the ground among the crowd. But this report kind of sheds light on why that was the case. And what we've learned in terms of numbers is there was only 26 confidential human sources among the crowd that were in Washington.
Only 26? That's crazy.
Yeah, so the pitch of that report was there were no federal agents on the ground. Well, Fox News tells a little different story. Here's their take.
It's a pretty big piece of news to kick off the show today, Sandra. I'm John Roberts in Washington. The report reveals that there were a total of 26 confidential human sources in the crowd that day.
David Spunt is live from the Justice Department. He has got the news for us. David.
Sandra, 3 of those were authorized and tasked by the FBI to be there on January 6, 2021. We're coming up on 4 years since that day of the Capitol riot. This IG report specifically focuses on the FBI's handling of confidential human sources, or as we know them, FBI informants. For years, the outgoing FBI director, Chris Wray, has been pressed on reports of undercover agents. According to this new report, there were no undercover FBI agents. However, there were 3 confidential human sources tasked by the Bureau to be in the crowd on January 6th to specifically watch.
There weren't no undercover agents. There were just informants.
They weren't undercover informing. They were just informing regularly.
Yeah. So that's the distinction they're trying to make right now. It's fucking crazy. You look this story up. I wanted to look it up because there's a new Inspector General report. And so that's what I kept looking up. 9 out of 10 headlines were new report confirms there was no undercover agents. There were no feds at January 6th. You scroll all the way down, except for the 26 confidential informants, 3 of which who were assigned to be there.
It's so crazy, dude. Honestly,
this is why when they lost Gates for AG, they should have fucking nominated Sabatini.
Dude, I gotta say, like, it is not surprising that they're playing like mindfuck games here. But I saw something earlier that like might tie into this a little bit.
Yeah.
They're saying about how Liz Cheney might be was
one of the people for a preemptive pardon.
Right. Yeah. And that they're talking about pardoning her.
They're talking about pardoning Hillary Clinton.
Fauci too. Fauci's on that list of pardon potentially too, because like, why not, right? Yeah. Like they already did Hunter Biden, and now they're just going to go down the list of everybody who the right could possibly hate. Which let's just start off the list with Liz Cheney and then go straight to Fauci right after that. I don't know. This is crazy. Not surprising though. We all saw the pictures of the people who looked like feds. There was even like a meme going around called OnlyFans. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, I mean, this news was bound to come out eventually. I would love to see more information. I mean, I'm sure that, hopefully at least with the next administration, they're going to be willing to spew some information, but we'll find out.
Yeah, that's what we hoped last time, and we didn't get any of it. So
didn't get shit.
This time will be different.
Right.
I was trying to find, I saw the comment earlier. Karine Jean-Pierre was the one that was talking about it. They asked her about preemptive pardons for Liz Cheney and Anthony Fauci. But yeah, what's your take on it, Josh?
Why are we pardoning them? What deep, dark secrets are we worried about here that could put them in prison?
Oh, I remember who posted it. Clint posted it. That's right. Thank you. Sorry. You reminded me. I don't know how you did it, but you did it telepathically.
And if they do get pardoned, I want the tell all. I need to know why they got pardoned. I want to know it all. Like
Clint knows.
Clint might know, but I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear it from Clint. I want to hear it from them. I don't want to hear it secondhand. I want to hear it first. I want to hear it from the horse's motherfucking mouth. Oh, this bitch. She needs to get fucking thrown in Gitmo too.
I like it from her teat. Anyway, Liz Cheney destroyed evidence that could have exonerated January 6th defendants. Anthony Fauci was the bagman for illegal bioweapons research. If Biden indeed preemptively pardons both of them, as KGP hints, you can just assume that I'm right about both claims, and I am. So here's her talking about it. Let me blow this back up. There you go.
Some of the names that have been floated around preemptive partisan, since it would just be such an unusual step. We talked about in the news. We've seen Liz Cheney, Dr. Fauci.
You're talking about the preemptive pardon,
right?
Yes,
I actually don't know what the president's thinking, but are any of those names wrong? Still, can you tell? I mean, do you want to tell us anything about?
It would be a bad move on my behalf if I preempted the president or previewed anything that the president was thinking about, considering.
3 years straight.
So this is something that he's going to talk with his team about, and I just don't have anything beyond that for you.
So yeah, she's denying the whole thing. She's like, he's not going to do it. And if he was, I wouldn't tell you.
She was like, I didn't tell you he wasn't going to pardon fucking Hunter. I never said that. You're lying. That's slander.
I love the video of him saying like he's not going to
pardon his son.
Yeah, pardon his son. But then there was like a million news stations that were like, this is so admirable. Of
he's
Biden,
pardon his son.
They're like he would never pardon his son because he cares about the justice system that much. And then like 2 years later, 2 years later, I'm gonna pardon my son, Hunter Biden.
Yeah, of course. Here, I found a meme that explains it perfectly. Here you go. Turns out no J6 agent except for the 26 informants. Yeah. Who knew? But yeah, no, fucking stupid. Of course he was going to pardon him. He was always going to pardon him. I don't necessarily blame him either. I mean, and anyone who wants to get mad about it, one, you think these laws are fucking bullshit anyways, just like we do. So you would have pardoned him on that alone. But second, it's his fucking son. He was going to do it. He was always going to do it. It was the right thing to do. And it was his son.
I think the LP should run Hunter Biden for president in 2028.
Hell yeah! If we don't like,
all right, there we go. We have our lineup.
Coke. What more do you want out of an LP candidate? That man has everything. He's like John McAfee, but with the fucking political fucking like nepotism. This is great.
We're not going to spend a dime on ballot access.
Hell no! He's got Biden money. He can afford it. That nigga got cash.
So we've got our ticket.
Chinese fucking bribe money. Fuck.
We've got the Swamp Creatures ticket building. Every day it gets stronger and stronger. We've got Tiffany Henyard as LP chair.
Hell yeah.
And now we've got Hunter Biden as presidential candidate.
Hell yeah. And Josh Locker still for vice chair.
Yeah.
No, don't do this to me. Yeah.
No, you can't put his to the debt. He's not allowed to run.
Yeah.
Well, look,
it's not for
another story. You as a new father can appreciate this. You know where we're going. Okay. Here, this was an interview that Lilly Phillips, is that her name? I can't fucking remember. Yeah, that's her name. She gave this interview shortly after having sex with 100 men in a row.
The week, girls. If I'm honest, it was hard.
Having sex with 100 men in a single day was not what OnlyFans model Lilly Phillips expected it to be. After offering her male fans a chance to sleep with her, the 23-year-old details the not safe for work experience in a recent documentary with YouTuber Josh Peters. And according to Lilly, the 14-hour stunt in which she gave each man...
She had sex with 100 men in 14 hours. What the fuck?
2 to 5 minutes to do the deed was not for the weak. She admits in a video published December 7th,
"It's not for the weak, girls. If I'm honest, it was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it."
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Regretting it. Completely regretting it.
You think so?
100%. She's like, fuck.
1 minute.
Yeah,
she's
trying to get subscribers. She's just trying to get subscribers.
Yeah, I mean... Well, she's doing a good job.
She went viral. This was a publicity stunt.
She's going to get more people.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's regretting it, but she's like, yeah, I'm going to get millions of more subscribers, but like at what cost? Like you can tell this bitch is like, it's like faking it after getting punched in the fucking mouth. Like, yeah, you broke my nose, but bro, I'm going to walk it off. Like, yeah, I'm bleeding. Yeah, my eyes are watering like shit, but nah, I'm fine, bro. No, I blew out my knee in the pit. I'm fine, bro. Don't worry. Like, dog, you can't walk right. Like, no, I'm fine, dog. Don't worry about it. I'm fine, bro. I'm fine, bro. Like, this is what that is. That's like your boy getting fucking blown up in the pit, and then you're like, he's like, I'm fine. Dog, your knee is.
Well, now she's trying to do like 1,000. And
yeah,
like,
I was going to get there. I was going to get
Fuck
there.
it,
I was
I'm in.
going to say, like,
I'm
look,
in.
like
you're
you thought she learned her
1,000
lesson.
one pump chumps. That means they're all going to be groypers.
Dude,
That's fine. Nick
Yeah.
Fuentes needs to nut too, bro.
He's got Milo for that.
You thought her 101 that she was ashamed or
Destiny
learned a
too.
lesson? Like, no, you're fucking wrong. Like, Lilly's 101 man challenge is not the first of its kind. Lilly has not called off her plans to sleep with 1,000 men in 24 hours.
I did the math. That's like one dude every minute and 45 seconds.
Yeah, so
that's a lot of dudes.
Well, apparently
she may as well just get gangbanged at that point. Like, why not just go all in and be like, hey, you get 5 at a time, and we're gonna bring it up to 5 minutes each. If you don't nut in 5 minutes, you're out. 5 at a time. Let's go.
Well, there was another porn star who has the current record right now. The current world record is held by Lisa Sparks, who slept with 919 men in one day in Poland back in 2004. So her goal is to reach 1,000 so that she can hold the world record for most men fucked in a day. On Lisa's website, the woman who holds the record right now, she said, to be completely transparent with you all, this event is the one thing that I regret in the last 23 years in the porn industry to this day. It was the only job that I agreed to do strictly for the money. You saw her break down and cry like during like this whole interview after she slept with 100 men. She still wants to go on and fuck 1,000 men.
That money ain't bad, bro.
It's not worth it.
That's your whole lifestyle. But that's your whole lifestyle.
She's like desperate because she's like not really the hottest OnlyFans girl either. Like I don't know if you noticed her face is kind of butterface. But I don't know. It's dude. I don't see her making it to 1,000. Dude, that's like impossible, man. It really
not in 24 hours. Maybe 48 hours. I'll like, okay, cool. Maybe you can make that in 48 hours, but 24 hours is like being unrealistic. Like I said, unless you're getting gangbanged consistently for the whole entire day, and you're not sleeping, you're not stopping, you're not taking, like you're pissing in the bed at that point.
I mean, look, Guinness is really strict about their records. You got to do it in 24 hours. So, okay. Like, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. My question for you guys, how many years does she have until she commits suicide? If she fucks 1,000 men, she's
5.
She's dropping. Dude. You see how she reacted. I'll mute it so it doesn't interrupt us. But you see how she reacted after she fucked 100 men. Like she couldn't stand being in front of the camera and had to walk away and cried about the whole thing. Now she's trying to play it off. Well, you have to be strong or whatever. That's a woman who regrets her decision and is going to do it 10 times over in less time.
It depends on if she turns into Nala and finds Jesus in 6 months. Because then she has a new grift.
Yeah, years more like months, says Magoo. Yeah, I don't
know, man. Like
she's not going to make it. I just don't see it, dude. That's crazy.
She's already got the like 1,000 cock stare. I don't even know what another 1,000 is going to do to her.
Yeah, she's already made it. Don't do it. Don't do it, lady. Don't fucking.
Isn't she like British or something?
Yeah, she's British. Yeah,
that's wild, dude. I don't know.
I saw something else earlier today that Brits in a new poll prefer socialism to capitalism. So maybe they get what they deserve. I don't know.
Yeah, 1,000 men in a day. That's kind of socialist if you think about it.
Yeah, it's not your girl anymore. It's our girl. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, are all those people paying to do this? Like, are they paying?
No, from what I understand, she put out a post on her OnlyFans that was like, if you want to sleep with me, fill out this application. And then basically they went and got them tested. And if they're past the HIV test or whatever, you could fuck her.
Our pussy, comrades. Our pussy.
Yes. Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah, I would Britney Spears my daughter if she ever tried to do something like that. The moment I heard about it, her ass would be Baker acted or locked up in my basement somewhere. Like, ain't no fucking way. No fucking way. You're crazy. I don't know.
This comes like 2 weeks after Sophie Rain went viral too again, because she said she made like $43 million over the last year doing OnlyFans. So I mean, people trying to play catch up. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, degeneracy gone wild, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, but like
LP, but like sex.
Yeah.
The only thing is like I saw like a statistic that came out like within the last day or two. It was like the average OnlyFans girl, like, because there's like I think it's like 1.4 million OnlyFans accounts, and the average girl makes $134 a month.
Yeah, a lot of those accounts are empty too. Like, I'm sure that there's a lot that aren't used.
We have an OnlyFans account, onlyfans.com/RealSwampcast. There's nothing there. Give us money.
I thought about starting it.
I'll put my feet on there. I'll put my feet pics on there.
Steve-O released his latest comedy special exclusively on OnlyFans. That's the only place you can get it.
That's awesome. I'm thinking about starting one too. Yeah. Seriously, I am.
Yeah, do it. And it's just some wholesome pictures of you and your family.
No, it's going to be me teaching people how to clean their rifles properly.
There you go. You want to get in real nice and deep, like you want to get the grease all lubed up.
And feet pics. Like, look at my pretty feet. I got a pedicure today.
You clean your gun next to your feet. That's how it works.
He's like, look at this.
With the barrel pointed toward your mouth.
Yeah, that's right. That'd be hilarious.
Don't put the barrel in your mouth, boys and girls. It's a bad place for it to be.
That was
Don't put the barrel in your mouth.
But what would the founder of the Emo Caucus be if he didn't make at least one suicide joke?
That's right. That's right. You have to.
God damn it. You make a good
suicide is not a joke.
Except for when it is.
For real, I've got resources. Call me. I love you.
You don't need to do it.
Show the video of jealous OnlyFans interview. You're gonna have to send me a link and show.
Yeah, Ronan, send the link, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
OnlyFans interview.
Yeah, I think there was like some. I think I know what he's talking about. It was on like that whatever podcast or whichever one of those. It was one of those podcasts, and oh yes, that is the one. I know exactly which clip you're talking about, Ronan. If you could find it, send it to me. There's this girl. They're doing an interview on the whatever podcast, and she asks her, she's like, well, how much, the host asked the guest, how much money do you make on OnlyFans? And she's like, I don't want to tell you because if I told you, I feel like you would be embarrassed. I don't want to shame you or whatever. And she's like, oh, what? Like, you're fucking, no, just show me. And she shows her, and the look of embarrassment is clear as day on this lady's face. And it's a ridiculous amount of money. Somebody's going to find it and they'll share it to me later. Let me see if anyone posted it yet, but yeah, no, it was very funny. I do want to get to the Biden story, but I feel like I can't move on past this point until we show this video. I will find it real quick. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about the Lilly thing because obviously everybody's talking about it. But yeah, it's, I can't imagine, like I said, my daughter would be locked up. She would not be allowed.
That's why I don't have daughters. I'm not dealing with that shit.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, man. I mean, she's got to do everything she can. You guys both saw the face. It's not the greatest face. I'm sure everything else is great. I've never paid a dime for viewing any kind of content like that in my life.
Yeah.
But I got to say that there's a reason she's got to do a bunch of publicity stunts. I'm sure that all the Brits love her because, they're used to getting fucked from every angle.
Yeah.
I was surprised Trump didn't try to challenge Kamala to 18 holes in the same way that
oh my God,
he did with Biden. The only thing is that, I don't know if Kamala would have been able to find the other 3 holes. So,
yeah.
The other 15 holes. She probably would have been stuck with just the 3. But
well, I'm not going to keep looking for the video, but I think Ronan's right here. I think it was about $4 million a month, like some crazy amount of money.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, she was like the most paid OnlyFans model. And she's like, I don't want to tell you. And then you could see like the look on the other girl's face. It wasn't like impressed. It wasn't like anything else, but I am envious of you. Fuck you, lady. How could you make more than me? Like that was the look.
How dare you make more money than me?
Yeah, exactly. That was the look.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy times we're living in. Yeah. Here, I want to play this other one. This will lead us into our next story. So here we go.
Beautiful.
Biden is commuting the sentences of almost 1,500 offenders today and pardoning 39 others.
It's the biggest number of clemencies in a single day. Some definitions for you. Pardons and commutations are both forms of clemency. Clemency is a form of relief or leniency. A commutation ends a sentence early, but the conviction still stands. A pardon completely frees you from legal consequences of your crime. The White House says that all of today's offenders were convicted of nonviolent crimes and were placed on home confinement for at least a year under the COVID-19 era CARES Act. These people have all shown signs of rehabilitation, they say, and of giving back to their communities. And in many cases, these defendants would have received lower sentences if they were convicted today.
Well, not so much. Okay. Let me just tell you. Yeah. Let me just tell you. So they said that all of these people were nonviolent criminals that didn't do nothing and should have been let go, and they'd be getting lesser sentences today.
Obama did the same thing, actually. It was all weed people, though. I think it was all for all of Obama's pardons were for weed, basically.
I think you're going to be interested to hear about some of the people that Biden decided to let go. Here, let me play this one. This is one of them.
On Monday, President Biden issued the largest one-day pardon in U.S. history. And one name you might recognize on that list, former Dixon Comptroller Rita Crunwell. Crunwell was convicted of stealing more than $50 million from the city of Dixon over a nearly 20-year span, funding a lavish
This guy
lifestyle.
stole $50 million.
It's the biggest municipal fraud case in U.S. history.
As a government
official. Her 18-year prison sentence was cut short during the pandemic. Now Biden has granted her clemency. Her sentence was supposed to run through October 2028. Congressman Eric Sorensen responding on Facebook today saying, quote, "Getting off scot-free today is such a load of BS."
That was one guy.
Yeah, Scott, Lisa, former Judge Michael Conahan was at the heart of one of the country's biggest judicial corruption scandals for his role. He was sentenced to serve more than 17 years behind bars. Now, his sentence was expected to end in August of 2026, but that has now changed due to the president's announcement. It's been 15 years since two Luzerne County judges were accused of taking kickbacks in exchange for sending kids to privately run juvenile detention centers in the scandal now known as Kids for Cash. Former Judge Mark Chivarella and Luzerne.
And one more to kind of set the stage.
Former Cuyahoga Commissioner Jimmy DeMora's punishment is over after he received a commutation from President Biden today.
DeMora was the central figure in the 2011 county corruption scandal, which sparked a complete overhaul of the county's government. News 5 investigator Sarah Buttison joins us now live with some new reaction to this major development in the case.
Give me a full screen.
Damon and Katie, I just talked to DeMora's attorney. He said his client is not doing any interviews today, but is, quote, very happy.
For years, Jimmy DeMora was a larger-than-life figure in Cuyahoga County politics. In 2008, everything came crashing down.
I'm not an angel, but I'm no crook.
The FBI raided his home in Independence. Prosecutors said he steered county contracts in exchange for cash, home improvements, and other gifts and favors. Gifts like a prostitute in Las Vegas. Here's what he said when News 5 investigators asked him about it in 2010.
What did she do? Exactly what I asked for, the massage. And that's on phone tape. I didn't ask for a hooker on the phone. I didn't ask for a prostitute on the phone. I asked for a massage.
Despite his denial.
I asked for a dozen roses. She just came over and wanted to fuck me anyway, okay?
Yeah, we know about the French, what do they do in Sacramento? Where they'll have like these like really fancy dinners for raising money for people like Gavin Newsom because they reached their contribution limits.
Yeah.
And they'll charge like $10,000 for a salad and give the proceeds to the campaign when the people reach their limits. It's insane, dude. There's so many fucking con artists. We need to bring back tar and feathering. I swear to God. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy because, everybody's praising it right now because they're like, oh, he let off 1,500 nonviolent offenders or whatever. Like, that's how they're trying to pitch it and spin this whole thing. Well, I just gave you 4. I have 5 examples right now of people who defrauded people out of money. And isn't it interesting? Joe Biden, been in politics for 50 years, is one of the most corrupt politicians in the world, and is pardoning people who are guilty of government corruption and embezzling money from their constituents. Kind of interesting.
Those 2 judges in the middle are some of the most disgusting people I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
like
Cash for Kids.
Taking $50 million kickbacks to send innocent children to do you know what they do to children in these freaking places, dude? It's disgusting. They had one shut down in New Hampshire because there were, I think, close to 400 kids that came out with sexual abuse allegations. And these are the places that people like that are sending them. Like, those people are basically pedophiles. They are facilitating child abuse. That's insane, bro. They should be treated. They should be thrown away and key locked up. In fact, you know, there are much cheaper options that cost less than $1 to take care of people like that. I'm just saying. I'm not from me. I'm just saying it in general. Like, there's just shitty people. They need to be freaking. I don't want to ever see them again.
Well, Joe Biden's setting records, and he's letting them all free.
Where's Luigi Mangini whenever you need him? I'm just kidding. I don't even know what the fuck that guy's last name is. I said it wrong, but
that was close enough. It doesn't matter. No, it's nuts though. Like, everyone's giving him praise because it's like, you know, when you hear the phrase like nonviolent offender, like, libertarians might get excited and they say, "Oh, well, you know, he's just slinging drugs. He wasn't hurting nobody." No, these are people who got elected, stole money, and fucked people over.
They stole from you and every other taxpayer.
There was one guy that I have. Let me see what his name is. If I can, I scrolled down a little too far. Sorry. One of Chicago's most notorious fraudsters. Another man. He used to run a major investment firm. Defrauded investors over $665 million. Ultimately bankrupted the company and blamed everything on the 2008 collapse. No, I didn't scam him. It was actually 08 that did. Well, he's free now. Thanks, Biden.
You know, he should pardon the Haktua girl too while he's at it.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think that she intended to fuck things up for everybody, but a lot of people got really fucked over with what she did the other week.
She's retarded. They're retarded, and they deserve what they get.
People deserve it for investing in her whatever scheme she's doing at any given time, but at the same time, she's just like a completely retarded person. So like, there's no way she knew it that was going on there. She's like, "Oh, this might be a good way to make a couple bucks." Well, then when like her bank account
she was
shows up
right
the next day and it shows like hundreds of millions of dollars in there.
She's like, "Holy fuck, let me divest in all of this I have."
Right? Yeah. Like, so she's like, I think something's wrong here. The coin's worth 2 cents now. It crashed, but I've got a lot of money. What happened?
It reminds me of that. It reminds me of Office Space when they're like, they take a few cents. Like, everybody agrees, like, "Oh yeah, we just take fractions of pennies. It doesn't matter." And then they check the bank account the next day, and there's like $100,000 in there. He's like, "Wait a minute, we're all going to jail."
This is like we're
fucked. We're going to fuck you in the ass prison. That's where we're going. And that's where a lot of these people deserve to be. And you know what? Like, I'm all for like pardoning nonviolent, you know, drug offenders or whatever they tried to sell this as, but that's not what it is. That might be like 1,000 of them, but 500 of them are people. Like, Biden's one of the guys that knows where the bodies are buried, and he just dug them up and set them free. Like that's what's really going on.
That's insane, crazy. Man. Like, honestly, like, I hadn't heard about a lot of this, and
it's crazy because like when you look it up, like, when you see it, like, most of the headlines are, you know, largest pardoning in history or whatever in a single day. But then you just go like one layer deeper, and it's all the local news outlets reporting on the people that were free from their area. And 9 out of 10 of them are corrupt government officials. It's crazy. There's so
it's like the Democrats take care of their own and, you know, circle the wagons when shit hits the fan.
Yeah,
crazy
they really do.
How that works in politics.
They really
like
do.
The Republicans do the same exact shit. Holy fuck.
And
maybe
guess what?
Libertarians should consider fucking doing the same thing instead of fucking throwing each other under a goddamn fucking cruise ship constantly.
I'm 90% sure that most libertarians might do the same thing. Not in the same capacity, probably, but I bet you that there's like, if the wrong people were getting elected, like if the party keeps heading a certain direction, where we have really bad presidential candidates, let's just say, I think that, like, let's just say this last one that we had probably would have pardoned a lot of really shitty people.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I don't think he was very libertarian at all.
I want to ask you I want to press you further on this. I'm interested to hear, what are you getting at?
What kind of people would he pardon?
Yeah, not only that, what do you mean that he's not like a real libertarian? Because I think that I think all the stuff that I saw was autistic libertarian, like extreme purist libertarian stuff. Like, for example, like the thing that I saw him say after the nomination process or whatever, or like somebody did an interview with him at DC and they were asking him like, gun to your head, who would you vote for? And he's like, the gun would go off. That's like an autistic libertarian answer, but in the end, you're dead. Like, that's a stupid fucking answer. Like, at first, when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, that's a based answer. Gun goes off. And then I thought about it for a second longer. And I was like, no, you're fucking dead. That doesn't make sense. But that's how we view all of his positions.
But that was so smart to do. It went fucking viral and he got tons of fucking.
But like, even like the transing the kids thing, like, I'm not in favor of like gender affirming care for minors, but you could take the autistic libertarian position and say, well, it's parental rights. Like, you could go that extreme and still make a good argument. So what do you mean when you say like he doesn't have libertarian positions? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
He's not an anarchist.
That is true. I'll agree with that one.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't think he's there. Yeah.
I think that there were
and so who would he have pardoned as a non-anarchist?
All the minarchists. I don't know. Like no, but maybe I'm wrong. Like, I don't think that like, so truthfully, I feel like there was a lot of like identity politics going on.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that there's some people who have been crying for help, let's just say. Like, I feel like people like, what's his name? Daniel Penny. He probably David Penny, whatever the fuck his name was. He probably like there's no way if that guy had gone sent to jail, there's no way that guy would have gotten pardoned. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's more so that kind of stuff is like, there's a lot of people that he very much so is in the camp of like, I want to support, diversity, ethical training, stuff like that. And it was very evident in his campaign. That was basically the only thing he focused on. He didn't want to go to all the conventions. He didn't want to go to state affiliates to fundraise. He'd rather go to a Pride festival where there was like 200 people where he might be able to talk to one or two libertarians.
So you agree with the idea that it was a grinder campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. But so was the Republican National Convention. So
no, we had Hulk Hogan. That was great.
They had they literally like they call that the Grinder Super Bowl.
Yeah, I remember we did cover it at the time. They had like Grinder had an outage in the area.
Yeah, because they fucking crashed it because there were fucking so many fucking weirdo fucking Republicans looking to get some little cat boy pussy like bussy that night.
You know what? Like, actually, I take everything back. Chase Oliver would probably be really good in the Republican Party.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'd say that. And you know what? I've had great conversations with Chase. Me and him could sit down, have coffee, and probably have a good conversation. Would not turn that conversation down at all. He wasn't my candidate. I don't think he was a good candidate. He wasn't inspiring. He hasn't accomplished anything. And I'm autistic enough where I can say that and whatever, like just be mad at me, but I'm just telling the truth. I say things how I see it. There was probably two candidates that really, like, in my opinion, there was really only one candidate that was really going to do something that was going to disrupt the system. And he didn't even come in the top three. So
from what I can tell, he's never made a statement on Daniel Penny.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting that he doesn't talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big deal though. I mean, Daniel Penny protected a lot of people on that train, and people should be celebrating that he was let off, because that could have been, if that went the other direction, that could have been, a court case. Losing that can go against other people in the future for protecting themselves and other people. Yeah. It does set a standard, and I think it's a huge win. I wasn't in the situation, but I think that guy acted and did something that he was, supposed to do. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, I did multiple searches on his Twitter timeline. Cannot find any statement about Daniel Penny or the subway situation.
What about Rittenhouse?
I'll say for my own piece of 2 cents, my candidate did say something in favor of Daniel Penny.
Wait, what? I didn't hear.
It's all fun and games on camera,
That's because cops always support other cops.
Threat of real violence, you desperately wish a man like Daniel Penny were there.
That's because cops support other cops. That's just what they do.
Damn, you call me a cop now, Ben?
No, I'm saying now? that Mike.
No, that's what you just said. You cops support other cops.
Daniel Penny was a cop.
Josh supports Mike, so Josh is a cop. Damn, that's fucked up. I've never been to a day of police academy in my life. That's fucked up.
I ain't
never. No cop. I ain't even an MP. That's fucked up. I support cops now. I'm a statist. That's fucked up.
Okay,
I would never. But Daniel Penny was a cop, and Mike Tremont supports Daniel Penny. So.
Daniel Penny was a Marine.
That is basically a cop. I was in the military.
He's basically a cop.
What it is.
Yeah. Well, here I'll make you respect Chase Oliver a little bit more.
But was Daniel Penny wrong for what he did?
No.
Yes or no?
No, I don't think
not every cop is bad either. They all like feasting on theft and extortion, but as people, there's some out there that have good morals. Hopefully,
there's some rapists and some murderers, and I'm assuming some good people in between there. But yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I got to know them.
I would love to actually meet a good cop. If somebody out there knows a good police officer, get them in touch with me. I want to have a conversation with them and just see if we can convince them. I will pay for a lifetime membership to the party if they turn in their badge tomorrow. So,
I know some retired cops that are good. That doesn't. Really
I want an active duty cop. I want them to turn in their badge in the name of liberty.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I know a cop who did turn in his badge. So I'm just saying.
You know what? It's actually there might be a pragmatic side here too. People on the Kingmaker strategy side might say we might need some more libertarian cops. Maybe it's good to have a bunch of cops that are libertarians. I guess there's an argument there. I just don't like cops. So
we've only ever had one set of babysitters in my life, and they were cops, and I would not trust my kids with a lot of other people. There were many libertarians that I would not trust my kids with over those cops. They were some of the best people that we knew. That's all I'll say. But I want to get you to respect Chase Oliver a little bit more, not because I have any kind of, whatever. But he was right on Rittenhouse. And here you go. Self-defense isn't murder. The Rittenhouse prosecution team is a joke. These are all of his posts. I'm just showing you. I'm going to the bottom. Self-defense isn't murder. Rittenhouse prosecution team is a joke. The only entity media won't point the finger at in the entire Rittenhouse situation is themselves. They have done all they can on all sides to inflame and rage and put fear into the respective audiences because they want ratings and revenue. We should demand better. Verdict in Rittenhouse incoming. Rittenhouse found not guilty. Like I said, condemnation or hero worship is unwarranted, and Rittenhouse shouldn't be held up to it as an ideological political symbol. Best thing folks can do is move past this trial and refocus efforts on ending qualified immunity and holding police accountable. Same for Greta Thunberg and Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't want them to be celebrities or made into villains. So he was kind of based in the beginning and then kind of tapered off into gay shit later. That's how
that's not gay shit. They're fucking children. Let them be fucking children. Why are you fucking putting these kids on a fucking pedestal, toting them out to the fucking media, putting them in front of a fucking lectern and saying, hey, all these cameras, you need to give a fucking statement to. I saw Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, there were people.
This kid looked like a fucking deer in the headlights, dude.
Sure.
This kid was fucking petrified. He's like, holy shit, I'm the face. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. You have to be the face of a fucking movement because this is fucking sad that you can't have a fucking childhood.
Hey, you know what? Like I said, I know Chase is good on a lot of things. There's just a lot of things that he's bad on.
And, for sure. Yeah.
As an anarchist, I will not support a candidate that's not an anarchist. I will say that, I did support one this last year. That was Lars Mapstead. And that was because he had the only actual plan that would have disrupted the system. That's it. The Stop 270 plan. That was the only real plan that was on the table that somebody laid out. They had a real
Everyone else was going to get 5%. If we just elected Josh Smith, he would have got 5%. Come
they
on.
just get 5%. But like, that's the thing is like, nobody else was looking past the convention. Lars Mapstead was looking at November 5th. And to me, that was like really important to me.
No one else could afford to look past the convention.
Right. Well, that's very true, man. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know, and mad props to everybody who ran for president, because I know that is like very hard. You put yourself in the spotlight. You put yourself under so much scrutiny just to go up there. You know, like I can't imagine what that's like to every single one of those people that was up there is probably a good person for the most part. You know, I didn't agree with all of them. I might judge some of them, but and nobody is perfect. But it's a hard job to do. You really to run for a third party candidacy and just get shit on for 8 months straight for no reason. That's something that you put on yourself unnecessarily, autistically. You know, props
some
to
people
them.
like it. I think they like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some in there that have a dumb sub kink for sure. But they like to get humiliated. But beyond that, I think that there, like I said, there's only one plan that I really bought into. So
we in the lead up to the convention, there I think the majority of the, well, I don't know how you would qualify this, but okay, so two people definitely wanted Rechtenwald to win. Josh was on the Termont campaign. I didn't go. I half supported Rechtenwald, half supported Josh. Duke was the only one that called it for Chase. But as a joke, like in the lead up, we all said, we're all in for Lars Mapstead. But really, at the end of the day, we probably should have been. Because,
I mean, truthfully, he was probably the only candidate that would have not caused this huge split in the party. There would have been haters. There would have been people who didn't like it. But like, he was a middle ground candidate. You don't.
No, I don't give a fuck about that. If we were going to really like double down on like who is the best candidate nominated and qualified, and we got out of our autism and our complete epic retardation.
I don't know.
You know who I'm going to say. It would have been RFK. If we would have fucking pushed past our fucking complete autism and fucking retardation, we'd be like, wow, RFK's got a billionaire fucking VP candidate. He's got fucking multiple hundred.
But then how would you have felt? But then how would you have felt?
I would have felt like a fucking winner.
I'm not going to beat the dead horse on that. You know where I stand.
What I was going to say is, how would you have felt in the 9th hour when he comes out in support of Donald Trump? Because that's exactly what he did. And if he was the LP candidate, you can't tell me that he wouldn't have done any different. Yes, because he got a cabinet position. Of course he would have.
I don't know that. If he would have been, now he has the backing of a political party. He's not running independent. He's not trying to gain everything as an independent. A
political party that couldn't get more than he got. He dropped out and still beat Chase. He didn't need the party.
But if he didn't have Chase in the race, would he have dropped that? That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
We are talking. No.
Because Trump
would have never existed. No. Chase would have never existed. Maybe that would have changed things. We don't know. We're talking about things that can't be quantified.
I'm calling it right now. He's going to run again in 2028. He'll try to get the LP candidacy because all the other parties rejected
I hope he does.
And he's not going to get it again.
And that's sad.
Because there's a lot of libertarian purists out there. I have been the biggest critic against RFK. When the news dropped that he was even thinking about it, I talked so much shit about that. Now, there's a lot of amazing things about RFK. I can give RFK props, believe it or not. Like, there's a lot of things that RFK stands for and believes in that I agree with wholeheartedly. I think he's out of the shitty people that is in Trump's candidate. He's one of the more lowercase L libertarian ones that is there. Okay. Like I'll give him that. And I think that he's in a good spot with the health thing. I hope he doesn't go off on a banning spree and try to ban everything, because that's not libertarian at all. But I will say that I still would do the same thing in the same way against RFK at convention, just because of his policies on, the environment and his stances on guns. So I think that those are the two biggest things for me. To me, that's socialism, and it was off the table. So it was purist. It was the purity test, the litmus test. He didn't pass it for me, so I would shit talk him. That's just what it was. So call it autism, call it what you will.
I have spent time around his close interactive team. I've spent a good amount of time in the room with him himself, where I've gotten private time to talk directly to and with.
They exchanged worms.
RFK. We did exchange brain worms. It was really kind of cute almost,
Yeah.
but like RFK is legitimately inspiring. I felt motivated, and like talking with him directly, like, you know, it was a good conversation. I didn't feel put off by the thing. And these were the topics that you, Ben, are like stressing, that are like, this is why as an anarchist, I don't agree with him. This is why me as an anarchist, like, okay, I can understand, and kind of like you're compromising with your principles. I'm like, okay, I think that these are optimistic goals for him, but these aren't realistic goals. This is just what some politicians say.
But hear me out a little bit here too, is that immediately before this election, I had made a post too. Is like, I basically said, listen to me. I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't think he's going to fulfill his promises. I think that he's a liar. I've already seen 4 years of it. I've seen enough. You know, if you can at least sit back as a libertarian and say, I understand why the other libertarians are going to vote for this guy, then you're a lost cause. Because he made so many promises to libertarians, and he made so many, said so many words that were like libertarian leaning. He was saying he was going to surround himself with people that were libertarian as well. And the way things were shaping up right before November 5th, if as a libertarian, you can at least understand why other libertarians would be disgruntled with the presidential candidate and choose to vote for him instead of anyone else, or just not voting, then you're a lost cause. Like, I understand. I went out and voted. You know what I mean? Like,
who'd you vote for?
Who'd you vote for?
Yeah, he doesn't want to say Trump.
I did not vote for Chase Oliver.
I voted for Chase.
Yeah,
I didn't vote for Chase.
I also voted for Chase in the state that, not for nothing, Trump overwhelmingly won. I'm not saying I made a strategic move there. I'm just saying I voted for Chase.
If there's anybody on Trump's campaign right now that was going to run for president in 2028, and that I like, it wouldn't even make sense for them to run the Libertarian, because the Libertarian Party doesn't have the infrastructure to support it, and we're gonna be lolberts about it. But Vivek is the only person.
Vivek was impressive. Vivek was actually fairly, like, he said some shit that I was like, but getting to see him at y'all, and he was relatively impressive. Like this.
What's your take on his Nationalist Libertarian Alliance?
He's been talking to libertarians for years, man. He came to PorcFest 2 years ago, and he came out and gave an awesome pitch for, for us as libertarians on decentralization and doing all this stuff. So I think all nationalism is retarded. I think celebrating and promoting a nation is just promoting statism, and not everyone might see it the same way. Now, if I could live in a nation that was libertarian, would it be better than what we have now? Sure. I'm not going to stand in the way of getting closer to libertarian nation, but I think there's some misguided stuff right there. I know that like friends of mine, like Jeremy Kauffman, for instance, he promotes libertarian nationalism a lot through the LP&H account.
Yeah.
And he's gung-ho about that.
Would that continue as you were chair of LP&H?
I'm not a nationalist, so I think,
would you allow Jeremy Kauffman to retain keys to the LP&H account?
The first step that we
will be taking the keys away. God damn it!
Is going to be creating an actual social media policy that we can hold each other accountable to.
No, it's going to be less space.
How many social media policies that we go through in fucking Florida?
There isn't one that exists. We have nothing to hold each other accountable to, so there's no rules. So how can you tell somebody that they're breaking the rules and doing something wrong?
Revoke their access.
Hold them accountable to.
Yeah,
so
you revoked their access.
Okay, well, I will tell you right now, like we have like an idea of who's looking into doing comms. There's a lot of people that have been doing comms that are not going to be doing comms anymore because they are not looking into. They don't want to continue doing that.
Are you saying
there is a policy in place where we're not allowed to talk about who all is on the comms team and who writes specific tweets? I think that's important. Every single person on LPNH's comms or XCOM for the last several years has been doxxed and had legitimate death threats put up against them. All right. I am one of them. I have had death threats against me back when I was on the XCOM a few years ago as an at-large. This is just something that regularly happens. We gotta do some stuff to, make us great again. So
I'm hurt and disappointed. I've gotten 0 death threats in the 4 years I've been part of this LP shit. I want this smoke. Where y'all at? Why y'all scared of me? Y'all pussies? Give me death threats. Come on, I got y'all.
Most of a lot of the recent death threats came from the cancer tweet, which I'm sure y'all seen.
Mm-hmm.
Saying like, if you can't afford healthcare, then you should die.
Yeah,
which is a crazy thing to say. Yeah.
So that's not going to be allowed anymore, huh?
Really?
I had cancer, and I think that the post was fine. Okay,
so you would approve it
right now
as chair. You would approve it.
Absolutely. I think there was nothing wrong with that tweet. I actually stand by it completely. And I have things to say about it too. Like as somebody who had cancer that had it removed, that's okay now. Nina Turner was basically promoting just free healthcare in general.
Yeah. That's all she does, bro.
That's all she does. She's a goddamn race baiter.
Yeah, like she was basically saying, like cancer patients shouldn't have to ruin their lives over this and all this stuff and going to all this debt and all that. So that she's advocating for free government healthcare and free government handouts. So OPNH said that, which is controversial. It's designed to be controversial. That's what they do. We're edgy. It's I think it was okay to do because honestly, it opened up a lot of conversation about what's the right way to go about it. We had multiple follow-up posts, which nobody wants to talk about how, government run healthcare is not good. Private healthcare is the way to go. That's not where we're at as people. But speaking as an individual, I'll say that even with good health insurance, spread out across a couple of years, with out-of-pocket expenses, all of this stuff, my bills added up to way over $40,000. Okay. And that's a lot of money. And I had to take 3 months off of work. That is a lot of money. All right. My friends came together, put together a Give, Send, Go, and raised almost 12 grand for me. And I'm eternally indebted to them for that because that was huge. They helped me lower my debt burden a lot. And it helped me get through those 3 months. But when it came down to it, I still had 30 grand in debt that it was responsible for me to pay. All right. And this is also, by the way, my mom died of breast cancer. So I've been through this. I've seen a lot. It happened to a lot of other people. I know what I'm talking about here. And when it comes down to it, hospitals are willing to negotiate with you, how to pay things back. Whether that be literally, let's say you owe $250,000, they will accept a $20 a month payment for the rest of your life until you pay it off. And you're not going to pay it off at that rate.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. Hospitals are willing to work with you. There are so many places out there that are willing to, give you charity as well. You can go to churches or different other charity organizations. There's a lot of medical relief out there for people to look for if they're struggling. And I encourage people to do that if they're in that position. There's numerous nonprofits. There's resources is what I'm trying to say. So for us to say, if you can't afford your medical bills, you should die. That's harsh. But we live in a world where handouts are socialism. Handouts are theft. It's extortion. You're reliant on the taxpayer, and that's entirely through theft. And healthcare is something that we cannot continue to socialize in this country, because I'm even with all this stuff, dude, I pay $1,600 a month for good health insurance. That's to get the best rates possible where I'm at right now, for my family. You know what I mean? And that's not everyone has that opportunity, but like there's ways to go about it. We need to be thinking outside of, oh, we need to mooch off the government for everything, and open up people's eyes to other options. And this certainly got the conversation going. At the very least, it was a very viral tweet, and we got a lot of shit. We got ratioed actually like crazy, like bad. We got ratioed, but that was kind of the point, truthfully. Like that's kind of the point. And I wholeheartedly stand by that tweet, and I think it got a lot of good conversation going. So as libertarians, we shouldn't be afraid to say things like that. So
when you started your comments about social media policy, the reason why I cringed at the beginning is because it felt to me like you were saying we're going to knock off all that bullshit. But I really do. Those are the tweets that I appreciate the most from New Hampshire. The ones that, it reminds me of Will Ferrell, nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative and it gets the people going.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what I think of when I hear about New Hampshire tweets. And, some of my favorite ones are obviously all the most controversial ones,
the Nina Turner picking cotton one was just.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think that there's, we have a very big comms team, and there's quite a few people that have access to posting on there. I'm one of them. I'm doxing myself there, but there's times where you might not actually be able to tell who's writing certain tweets, because a lot of us have the very similar opinions on these things, and it's obvious when you have that many people and it's consistent messaging. I do think that we can keep edgy tweets going. I'm not trying to stop the edge. Same time, every single person on the comms team right now has agreed that if we had a social media policy put into place, they would stay within those bounds, and we will hold each other accountable to those. There's nothing that exists. So people can bitch all they want, but truthfully, at the end of the day, they are not members of the Libertarian Party in New Hampshire. We are a state affiliate that has its own autonomy. We handle our own business. It is not up to everybody else. And we will handle it in-house from here on out. Like, we don't need, people can bitch online from freaking the other side of the country all they want.
Hear that, Leighton? Suck it.
Yeah, Leighton,
suck it, Leighton.
But I don't care. You can pay $25 a year, and I will take your opinion a lot more seriously. Pay me $25. That's our complaint jar. Become a member of LPNH, and then email me. I'll listen to you.
Do I need to live in LPNH to be a member of LPNH?
No, you don't. You don't. If you want to vote, then yes. But anyone in the whole country can pay $25 and become a member of LPNH. So,
well, my only suggestion would be that you allow as much as possible, and maybe the only policy needs to be that you guys keep a separate spreadsheet on who posted what, and then you can hold each other accountable that way.
I don't even care.
Because I like where the account is right now. Yeah.
I'm gonna be $25 a year, Ben. Is that it?
Yeah, $25 a year.
Guess what? Tomorrow morning, I'm submitting my request to be an LPNH member. I'm submitting my $25, and I'm putting my money in the complaint jar. I'm not going to complain, but I'll put money in the complaint jar.
Thank you.
Ben just sold me. Like, I don't need to live in LPNH to be an LPNH member.
No, you
I
don't.
can just donate $25. Fuck yeah!
But can I be a delegate?
You can't vote at our convention unless you live here. That's the only standard. Is that
I don't want to vote at your convention. I want to vote at the Michigan convention or whatever.
I can't speak for Michigan. They're their own thing.
No, I'm saying, like, can I be a delegate for New Hampshire?
We be a delegate to New Hampshire if we're a member of the LPNH, but not a resident of LPNH.
No, yeah, like you have to be a voting member. Yeah. Yeah. We have strict bylaws with that. You know, we're not like Ohio, which just allows anybody to speak.
Well, but, Ohio's not real anyway. So.
Ohio's not. Ohio's for lovers. But I'll say one more thing about that is that one of our goals this next year is to monetize a lot of these new Twitter followers that we've been getting. We have over 80,000 followers. We're one of the biggest Libertarian Party accounts that exists.
Are you not the biggest? I thought it was.
We are the biggest state affiliate account. That's true. And in terms of like a per capita, we are outnumbering everybody insanely when it comes to like every Twitter follower for our account per 1,000 members. There was a graph that came out earlier that was put out by an autist here in New Hampshire. We want to capitalize on that. We want to try to get more members. We have a lot of fundraising goals. I'd like to raise an additional in addition to just gaining membership. I'd like to get at least another 10 grand for the party over the next year. So we can do cool things. We're talking about even putting up a big billboard off the highway to get some real attention to people, something controversial that could get some media attention. So, we'll see how that goes.
Send the children to the mines. That was one of my favorites.
More like send the Boston Knights to Massachusetts, but
yeah. Well, here's another super chat that came through. Here's a sip. Try Crowd Health. Drop Hawaii like the rabid dog it is. Is that Hawaii? What's the HI?
Hawaii.
I don't know. Try Crowd Health. Yeah, sure. Why not? Well, hey, Ben, it's been great. We got a bunch of stories we didn't get to, but I don't want to hold you too long. So
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on again. It's good conversation.
Of course, dude.
Hopefully I don't get you all like demonetized if you're monetized.
Don't worry about it. We'll be fine.
We don't care.
We'll be fine.
It's not about the money here. It's about the message.
That's right. Joker style. Hey, Ben, you want to promote anything before we get out of here?
Yeah. Go to punksforliberty.org. Sign up to be either a volunteer or on our mailing list. We have a lot of cool stuff going on in 2025. We're going to be dropping some merch really soon. And we do have some big goals to try to get out and table at a bunch of these festivals. So if it's something you're passionate about and you want to get involved with, sure, be a volunteer. Maybe we could have you table one of the booths at one of these festivals. That'd be huge. But money goes a long way too. We need to pay out thousands of dollars to table at a lot of these big festivals. So if you could donate even $5, $10, $20, it all helps so much. So go to punksforliberty.org, support what we got going on over there. Check out the Libertarian Party Emo Caucus and follow me on Twitter, the Emo ANCAP. So
yeah, definitely. All of his links are down in the description below. So you can go find them. The Punks for Liberty, Emo ANCAP, all that stuff is all down there in the description below. Definitely follow Ben. Josh, you got anything?
Honestly, I'm going to throw all my plugs out the fucking window here. I just want to plug what Ben's doing here. Seriously, follow him on Twitter. Emo Caucus is one of the most positive fucking, optimistic fucking organizations in the Liberty movement right now. Punks for Liberty is honestly doing some of the best work I've seen in the Liberty movement. So if you got a couple dollars, please go punksforliberty.org, donate your dollars. If you have time and not money, please sign up to be a volunteer. Seriously, we need the help out here. Ben, once again, I'm throwing my whole thing out the window. Tim's heard me say I love me more than Kanye loves Kanye, and I love what you're doing, dude. Seriously, I say it all the time. We have a lot of followers in the Libertarian Party, not a lot of leaders, and you are one of the few people that inspires me to want to be a better person, better activist, better fucking libertarian. So thank you for what you're doing, sir. I can't stress enough the people out there. If you are not following Ben, he is one of the most fucking positive and greatest people I've met in this movement so far. I can't emphasize that enough. And thank you for what you're doing, sir. Like,
Thank you.
It's an inspiration to me, and like I said, like I just want to put you on a pedestal for a minute here.
That's
man,
my vice chair right there. That's my vice
awesome
chair.
Shit.
Don't
like,
force him.
That's my hipster vice chair right
I'm
there.
really serious. Like, if anybody's doing anything for liberty more than Ben, I'd love to meet them because I have not yet.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Well, that's good. And Josh, with all of your good vibes, I'm going to throw it all out the window. Here you go. Anyway, come join.
God damn it!
Come join our Discord. We're going to, we've discovered that we can have poker night after these things. So, Ben, you're welcome to come play poker with us in the Discord. Links are in the description below. Go follow everything that Ben's doing. On Sunday, we've got another members only stream. And on our next Tuesday stream, we're going to have King Libertarian on. Not sure what we're going to talk about, but it should be an interesting one as well.
King shit. Kingmaker shit.
Yeah, for sure. So come hang out. Thanks again, Ben, once again for joining it. We're going to have you on. They said you were on recently. That was a year ago. We're going to make it more recent than that for the next one.
I'm down.
Hell yeah.
All right, boys. We'll see you next Tuesday. See you in the Discord. Love you all. Goodbye.